Rev up your engines! Yes, it's road trip time again. Time to put the tools back in the car and head to Tennessee. 4 o'clock in the morning. On the way to Tennessee. Well, there's a bit of snow going through Connecticut. Purgatory Road. Purgatory Road, oh no! Day 2, we're in Niagara Falls, and there is the giant pile of liquid industrial waste as far as the eye can see. It's not a ski hill. Pictures are gone. You can see only one smokestack is working, but they left their waste behind in the mountains. Here's Beaver Island State Park. The beavers are long gone, but the park's still there. And here's all the oil refineries that feed a lot of western New York. There's all the big old containers, and when I was a kid, it always smelled here when you drove through, and it still does. P.U. Tire factory that my father worked at. It was Dunlop, and now it doesn't exist. There's the International Peace Bridge to Canada. Goes over to Fort Erie, Ontario. Now here's an interesting fact. With all the snow, I have yet to see one single electric car. Maybe they hibernate in the winter like bears. And here we are entering Pennsylvania.
To Pennsylvania.
Maintain safe following distance. Headed to Erie, Pennsylvania. You can see there's a lot of snow on the side of the road. We made it to Ohio, and miraculously, the roads are dry here. And for those of you keeping score, gasoline is much cheaper here in Ohio. As you can see on a giant sign, they're even flashing it. Last day, early in the morning, leaving Columbus, headed to Clarksville. Now here's an interesting one. We went through Columbus where gas was $3.25 a gallon. We're now between Columbus and Cincinnati, and gas was $2.65 a gallon. They just rip off people who live in cities, obviously. They're on the way to Covington, Kentucky. And here we are at Love's. I like stopping at Love's. They're clean, they're nice places. You got good prices on gasoline, even though you're on the side of the highway, and the people are very friendly. And they're very clean bathrooms. All right, we're back in Tennessee now. And what has happened in the months I've been gone? Well, hey, there's a new president coming. Kind of big news. And contrary to the political pundits and media who said it was going to be a close race, it was a landslide because Americans obviously want some type of change. Will the change come? Now, since I'm a car guy, is it going to affect the auto industry? It could affect it a lot, a little. Trump is talking about putting tariffs on Mexican stuff, Canadian stuff, Chinese stuff. If it does, what effect will it have? Well, let's look at the facts. Many American companies are making stuff in Mexico. Ford, GM, Stellantis, even though Stellantis isn't really an American company, they still call it Chrysler, right? They make lots of their vehicles in Mexico. Would those be taxed the same because they're made in Mexico? For instance, my son's Tacoma, as we look inside the old door here, where was it made? 3 means it's made in Mexico. You can see it says Toyota Manufacturing de Baja California. They make it look like it's California, but that's part of Mexico, Baja California. So this was made in Mexico. Now, it's a fancy truck, costs over 50 grand. If they're gonna put tariffs on these things, it's gonna be 60, 70 grand for the same truck. What's the average American gonna think about it? Now, it kind of peed me off in the first place that they used to make Tacomas in San Antonio, Texas. Then they made some of them in Mexico. Now they only make them in Mexico. They're building another factory from what I see in Mexico. And they're going to start making Tundras too, they say, in Mexico. If those things have a tariff on them, that's really going to start stirring up economics. GM, Ford, Chrysler, they all make tons of stuff in Mexico because it's cheaper to do, right? Maybe it's good in the long run, but not the short run. Let's say they put a tariff on all this stuff. In the short run, you'd pay more. But in the long run, they'd have to start bringing jobs back to the United States, which would be a good thing. We don't know if it's even going to have these tariffs. We have no idea. And if you've been following any of the Chinese trends, the plan is to sell Mexican-made Chinese vehicles in the United States. The Mexican market is a spit in a bucket compared to the United States. China is now the biggest car market in the world, and the United States is number 2. Mexico is only the 12th largest market. Interesting enough, Turkey is the 13th. They make a lot of cars in Turkey, right? So, will these politics affect the car industry? Will they really shift things up? Will it be they'll start taxing parts from China more? Now, if you look at the clothes you wear, the shoes you wear, many things you use, a lot of them are made in China. And car parts, same thing. So there could be a real revolution, or maybe things will just go on as they always did, and ramifications only occur if actions are actually taken. And speaking of the car industry, well, old Elon Musk partnered up with Trump, and now he's the head of that crazy new government division they've set up for efficiency, right? Trump isn't shown himself to be a fan of electric cars. What happens if he ditches the $7,500 tax credit for electric cars? Well, Elon said, oh, it might hurt me a little, but hey, it'll destroy the competition. I'll be the only one left. Well, maybe yes, maybe no, but there's an important thing that a lot of people don't think about. Q3 of 2024, approximately 34% of Tesla's net income came from carbon credit sales. They generated $730 million in revenue from selling these credits. Now, everyone knows that that carbon credit is a line of horse manure. It's not saving the planet. Oh, you don't pollute. Tesla pollutes building cars and stuff. It's so stupid. But they sell these tax credits to other companies so they can pollute and then buy credits from him. It's just stupid, right? The whole thing is absurd. Is Trump going to change that? Is that going to change? Now, sure, old Elon gave him some money to get elected, but I'm sure he didn't give him $700-something million. And that's only 1/4 that he got for the tax credits, right? Maybe it was just a good investment by Elon put into Trump's campaign so that he'll continue to get those carbon credits, which are the biggest line of horse manure ever. Let's see what happens. I'm really curious to see that, where they still give these carbon credits to Tesla, selling them to other companies. That's a lot of money. Like I said, almost 34% of Tesla's net profits. 34% of your profit, if that disappeared, that's going to hit old Elon nail on the head. Well, 34% of my profit's gone now because Trump said we're not giving those stupid carbon tax credits again. Let's see what happens with the politics and cars. It's going to be a fascinating 4 years. That's all I got to say. So I'm back in Clarksville, Tennessee now. Anybody wants to meet me, show me their car, got a problem, I can help them fix it, just email scottykilmer@gmail.com. During the weekdays, check out cars, work on for people. You want to show something off. Maybe you're really peed off at some manufacturer for selling you a junker. Bring the junker here and we can show the world so other people don't get ripped off and buy one of those junkers. And speaking about being back in Tennessee, I got a ton of Amazon and other boxes to open up so I can test things out to see if they're good or not, so you don't have to waste your money on things that are garbage. Or maybe you're looking for something really good, and I happen to have tested it out and gave it my seal of approval. I merely test things out to see if they're good, bad. I like the good ones, the in-between ones. They can be okay if the price is right, but there's a lot of junk out there that I personally tested out that, hey, I was so peed off at how bad it was. I wanted to tell the world, this really stinks. So maybe if you got a really stinky product, send it to me. Maybe you bought a stinky product. Send it to me and I will talk about it. And you can get even with the manufacturer. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Now, H says, I got a 2017 Sport Accord. Is it good? Well, it's certainly good if it's been taken care of. God brought me one the other day. It had 300,000 miles on it. It was still running good. Honda makes excellent cars. The main thing with a Honda is change the engine oil and filter with synthetic oil every 5,000 miles and use a good oil filter, not a cheap one. That's the main maintenance. Hondas are pretty well made in the sports. They're more fun to drive around, and they're good cars. But let's say you're thinking about buying a used one. Hey, it can be a great car. It could be one that was in a wreck or something. You always want a mechanic like me to check out a car if you're buying them used. Sir, he says, what do you think about liquid moly additive? Okay, now in World War II, the Germans actually put molybdenum bisulfite in their engines in the hope that they wouldn't blow up when they overheated when they got shot at by Allied planes. It actually works to some extent. Molybdenum bisulfite is a very good lubricant. You ever hear of moly steel? Moly steel has some of that built into it. Very interesting characteristics. But the problem is when you put in an additive in an oil, nobody knows what the overall ramifications are. You're adding something that wasn't there. You have no idea. Is it going to clog up something? Modern engine oil is so well made. My advice is don't put anything in it. Use the best oil you can buy for your car. That GF6 oil is the best, the highest rated. Use that. Use the correct viscosity. If yours says use 0.20, use 0.20. If it says use 10.20, use 10.20. If you get the GF6 rated oil, it's not a brand, it's a type. Those are the best. Change all the additives. You're gambling putting something in your car that it wasn't designed for. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.